Happy to have you. You could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here. I'm so excited to be back. We're watching Monday Night Football tonight. The Eagles, the 6-2 Eagles, are taking on the Packers. And over here to my right, I got Josh and I got Keegan. And we got Tony the Dreamer over here. He's off camera, but he's a good buddy of mine. He didn't want to be mentioned, but I had to throw it out there at the beginning. But anyways, we're talking football, guys. It was a super Tony. There's nobody even watching it. Nobody watches this show, buddy. Don't worry about it. But anyways, I should have named the show. Don't worry, nobody watches this. Anyways, but we're talking football. We got Eagles versus the Packers. It's 0-0. It's about to be halftime. I didn't expect this game to be 0-0. What about you guys?
Not at all.
Yeah, who do you guys think wins this game here?
Jordan Love. Based on that play, the Eagles.
Jordan Love kind of throws a terrible, kind of a sidearm throw there, and I think that's probably going to be ruled a fumble in Eagles ball, right?
That was like an attempt at a throw, but I don't think he actually threw it.
And they have a timeout, and they're right in field goal position. Why would he do that? That was terrible.
Foolish.
Terrible.
Yeah, that slipped out. That's a fumble.
Yeah, that's an absolute fumble.
You can't try to pat it afterwards.
Try to follow it.
Yeah, he tried to do a follow through.
Oh yeah, I meant to do that.
Yeah, so then Eagles are probably going to be in field goal range right here and probably get 3 on the board before we go into half.
Here we go, some points, baby.
Oh yeah, Eagles have got 3 timeouts.
Nick Sirianni's happy.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen often.
I want to make sure. Hey Tony, can you do me a huge favor real quick? I usually have Ryan do this. Can you go on YouTube and then just make sure that we're live on YouTube? I'm pretty sure we are. Ryan always gives me a nudge to make sure that we are. But
and
anyways,
leave a comment and a thumbs.
Yeah, and then leave a comment. It's called Huddle Up with Ryan and Adam. Yeah, if you can't find it, it's okay. Somebody
you know
will
the name.
I'm pretty sure. No. Hey, how could you know the name? I'm pretty sure we're live right now. But anyways, want to get started with Sunday Night Football yesterday. Does it show? Anyways, want to get started with Sunday Night Football last night. The Steelers versus the Chargers. That was another game that I expected to kind of be a little bit better than it was. And it was a real dud. Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers came into Los Angeles, or SoFi South, or whatever they call it. And they put a beating on them, or shall I say the Chargers put a beating on the Steelers. There was never really a game from the beginning. But kind of what are your takeaways? I mean, Aaron Rodgers, was that kind of worst game of his entire career? All right, we're live. Cool. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. So Aaron Rodgers, worst statistical game of his career,
Well,
they say.
as somebody that has him on his fantasy team, yeah, it was a pretty bad day.
Did you play him?
Yeah, I did.
Oh no.
Well, it was Penix or Mariota, so I didn't exactly have a solid number
That's
2.
true.
But
That's true.
I was expecting a little bit more. I mean, Harbaugh is always a tough challenge. They were ranked the 31st hardest to score points for quarterbacks before yesterday's game. So
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been having a great season. I was expecting him to put up a better game than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It seemed like the announcers said they were kind of shading over to DK Metcalf's side a lot, and they kind of took him away, and then they weren't able to find much else going. I like the Steelers, but one thing I was looking at, Jaylen Warren had that one cool play where he hurdled over that guy, but you know, they need that Najee pop. I mean, Najee wasn't good last year, but they need somebody for a little bit extra muscle. Like the Steelers always had like Jerome Bettis type guys, or guys that could pound it in at the goal line. And like Jaylen Warren, you know, he's good, but like he doesn't necessarily fit like what I think the Steelers are known for. You know, that like tough running. You know, and I think they're missing that. And yesterday they felt a little one dimensional. You know what I mean? But what do you think?
I kind of wish they played Jaylen Warren more, because he was the only thing that really looked good to me.
Yeah, you might be right. Yesterday he had some stuff going.
Yeah, they kind of didn't. You guys alluded to the fact that they didn't really have anyone else to pass to, and every time they did, I mean we had that one drop and intercept, which was pretty bad. I think that DK has been pretty solid for them this season, working on pretty small volume though.
Yeah.
But they kind of did take him away last night. He wasn't really able to do much, and the game was just kind of terrible because of it.
I'm also wondering how much of that was he had the recent outbursts on the field, and I wonder how much that's the team telling him, calm down, don't do that stuff, and he's
like he
kind of needs to play on the edge to excel.
No, I agree, and he is a hot head. We've seen that many times. Obviously, playing the Niners a lot, we've definitely seen some of this out.
Him and Lenore for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, same way with Jawan Jennings too, a little bit. Like that's kind of how he plays a little bit. But on the Chargers side of things, I was watching it, and as I saw Harbaugh on the sidelines, it was kind of, you know, bringing up a lot of those memories and stuff. Like he was a good coach for us. Like I really enjoyed the time that we had it. kind of ended on like sour grapes with the whole like Kaepernick thing, and it just fizzled out. You could tell he lost his love for it. But like, you know, seeing him with the Chargers, it almost just seems like a foregone conclusion they were going to be good, right? It was like it was only a matter of time.
It's like what he was with the Niners. You just know what to expect. That they played a Steelers-like game last night against the Steelers, and they hit him in the mouth.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh didn't know what to do besides try and throw it back, but out of frustration.
I think Keenan Allen, he broke some type of record last night.
The amount of catches for Chargers.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Antonio Gates was there, and
that's cool that he was
yeah,
there.
Antonio Gates, Phillip Rivers. That was, oh man, if you're a Chargers fan, you were just hearing that like every play, like over and over again on the radio.
But I mean, a pop pass.
Yeah,
Come on,
I know.
come on, a pop pass.
It kind of felt a little bit like that Mike Evans moment for the Bucks.
It was like Brett
But he's
Favre
gonna
and
get
Michael
it like
Strahan.
next week or whatever. You know what I mean? He's gonna get it eventually. So it's, you know, you might as well give it.
But
to
you
him.
want it to be organic.
Yeah.
Well, we had, remember last year when we talked about that Gastineau thing, and it was like he
Yeah.
fell over and
No,
like.
but just reference that with Favre and Strahan. Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. So that was kind of crazy.
You hurt
too.
me, Brett. You hurt me.
Yeah, exactly. So switch of stories. One thing is like, man, do either of you guys have ESPN? Because if we can get you to stream the game, all my video things are on here. It doesn't matter. We don't have to. But anyways, my videos for the back, it doesn't matter. But I had a lot of videos for the back here, and we'll just go without them. But I wanted to ask you guys, bigger story right now, and you can answer too over there, Tony. We could just get your yes or no. But bigger story right now in the NFL, the Colts 8-2 start. With, I'm gonna say, the boss bitch Carly. That's what I'm gonna say, dude.
YouTube, we can say it.
She's awesome, bro. Or the Patriots 8-2 start with Mike Vrabel, the D. You know, Drake May. Obviously, we're gonna talk about him later for the MVP hunt. But in your guys' opinion, what do you think is the bigger story in the NFL right now?
Let's start with Tony.
No, I gotta go with you. Tony doesn't even want to be on. But anyways, yeah. What do you think?
I think the boss bitch. To be honest,
Yeah.
I think the Colts and what they've done this year. I think Shane Steichen has really got a good thing going over there.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, obviously, his last 2 games haven't been great, but he's definitely exceeded expectations this year. Jonathan Taylor, one of the MVP sort of candidates. I think they've got a really good team over there. They went all in and gave away, how many of their first round picks? Is it 2 or 3 of them?
For Sauce?
Sauce Gardner.
Yeah, and I like that move, man. When you're this close, I mean, when are the Colts gonna get this close again? I mean, you got to go all in, you know. But speaking
Lynch,
of,
you hear that?
yes, exactly. Well, yeah, we'll talk about that later. But speaking of Daniel Jones, like, I don't know if he's gonna be like my MVP pick. We're gonna talk about that later. But he's definitely in the discussion for comeback player of the year. I mean, like this is an incredible season by him. I'm kind of a little bit of a hater on the show. I've like kind of been skeptical or whatever, but. Every season, every week that they put it together, I mean, they're shutting people like, me down. I think that the Jonathan Taylor effect is huge. I think when you have an awesome running back like that and you can play off the play action. And I've always said this about Daniel Jones. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. It's like once you hit him a little bit, though, he gets that deer in headlights look. So, but Josh, to you, what do you think? Was that? I think they're just showing some highlights at halftime right now, but still 0-0. Sometimes they trick you right there with the highlights.
Fantastic stats over there.
But what do you think? Bigger story, the Patriots or the Colts?
The Patriots are a great story, but Vrabel's done this before in Tennessee, so I'm not that surprised. Mm-hmm. The Colts, what they're doing with Pittman's a good receiver, but they've got a bunch of pretty good wide receivers, nothing elite. They've got the young rookie tight end, but he hasn't emerged yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What he's been able to do, Daniel Jones and the rest of the team with Taylor, like you've mentioned, they've had a lot of injuries on defense as well. It's really impressive. 8-2 in the division. Nobody picked them to win.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah. That's the Bills are in that division, So it's like, I think everybody probably thought the Bills were going to.
I am happy for Mike Vrabel, though. I do think he got a kind of a rough deal over there with Tennessee, and he's kind of sort of faded into the background. He's always been like a player's coach, and I can see how his sort of like uniting qualities have really helped that team.
And if you look at Tennessee, he wasn't the issue. Management's kind of run that into the ground.
No, yeah, absolutely. But I think it's kind of funny because like if you're a Patriots fan, you had all those years where you were really good, and then they lost Tom Brady, and I was thinking, they'll probably be bad for a long time. And then now they draft Drake May, and honestly, they're probably going to be decent for the next like 10 years. You know what I mean? Drake May looks good.
They made the right move getting rid of their coach last year.
That Mayo guy, yeah. He was just he was just an interim, like a Robert Kraft like loyalty.
He was very Jim Tonsula.
Yeah, until he could figure it out. He could figure it out. But all right. Well, Tony, you got a bigger story over there? I think the bigger story is the Colts. Myself, we're going to talk about it later, but I think Carly Ursay. I think all the stuff they got going on, all the facets that they're bringing in. I think they were kind of a mess the last few years with who's the quarterback that they Henderson or
Richardson.
Yeah, Richardson, and he's hurt all the time, and they got him taking himself out, and it's like it just looks like a mess, and a lot like the Broncos with the Russell Wilson situation. It looked pretty dire, and they've really turned the ship around.
Paid him to leave.
Yeah, they paid him to leave. But cool. All right, hopping ship into the Dolphins. I want to talk about the Dolphins upset the Bills. Chad was going to be here, so he's a big Dolphins fan, but it's still worth talking about. I had this cool clip on my phone, but it was Mike Daniels after the game. Apparently, he drove by some sports bar or something like that and was razzing him, but I don't know. I also had it too. They were pretty hyped after that win. I don't think anybody thought the Dolphins were going to beat the Bills. I was working, but when I looked on my phone and I saw the score, I couldn't believe it. I had to message Chris, who's another guy. I knew he was watching the game, and I was like, what in the world is happening here? But it looks like Achane just ran wild, and they were able to hold Josh Allen to like no touchdowns in the first half. And that's like huge.
Toward the end of the game.
But what do you think about that? Like, Mike McDaniel staves off of firing for another week.
Was firing Greer really that much of a difference? Did it give the team that much of a shot in the arm? Because they looked like a totally different squad.
Yeah. I'm not sure what's going behind the scenes. I think the problem for the Bills was I played them on defense, and every time I've done that, they've been terrible. So I don't know. That's it. I don't know how much it says about the Dolphins or it says about the Bills. To be honest with you, you would think the Bills coming off that big game against the Chiefs and off of like a really big high to then lose to the Dolphins, who have been pretty terrible this year.
Yeah,
they made their defense look actually pretty decent. It was a weird game.
I wonder if they just showed up thinking they can win. No, this is a 2-7 team. We got them. We just beat the Chiefs. We're riding high. We don't even got to really work that hard.
And it could have been like a little bit of a trap game. They're showing it the highlights actually right here, but sometimes these guys it's just a lot more. Look at Josh Allen, oh my god,
and then he loses.
But that fumble right there, I mean, kind of a freak fumble, but he's just carrying a whole pile and they top it out.
As well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So it wasn't his best day. If they play 10 times, the Dolphins probably lose 9 of them. But today, they beat them, and sometimes with
can
these,
we just skip?
We're watching Niners highlights here. But a good time to segue into this. We're done talking about the Dolphins because Chad isn't here. That's all. We only brought it up.
Sorry, Chad.
Yeah, sorry, Chad. But anyways, so we'll segue into our 49ers yesterday. Obviously, it was an abysmal performance. You never know kind of what you're going to get with the 49ers. You were talking about that on the way in here. But Stafford and Devontae, I thought looked really, really good. The Rams, they're probably up there in one of the top teams to beat with the NFC. And the 49ers didn't look good yesterday. But what was your takeaway from the game yesterday?
I haven't seen the injury report yet, but the only thing I can take solace in is it didn't seem like there was a lot of major injuries for the team yesterday. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's really about the only good part of yesterday's game.
Yeah. They got stomped on. I'll tell you what I didn't like to see is I didn't like to see the way the defense played. Obviously, they always seem to play with a little bit of heart, and yesterday seemed like right from the beginning they just didn't have the spunk, man. And it's like they are lacking somebody. Like I was hoping Mustafa was going to be the guy because I knew when they let go of Greenlaw they were going to miss a bopper, and when they had Warner they were okay, and obviously Bosa, like the guys they've lost, but I was kind of hoping Mustafa would fill that void. He's a big guy that can hit, but he's gotten burnt a ton, man. He's gotten burnt a ton, and Renardo Green hasn't been as good as I
don't care for him
as I'd hoped he'd be. And Lenore, I really like Lenore, but they've just got a lot of problems on defense. Yesterday, they didn't bring in even Collins to the mix. I don't even know who their nose tackles were yesterday, but I think they had
CJ West quite a bit.
Yeah, CJ West, who's a rookie who's a backup guy, and so they have a lot of injuries. No, I'm not saying like a lot of excuses, but. It was pretty rough yesterday on the defensive side. I didn't know a lot of the guys. There was a lot of guys I was like, who is this?
The Rams offensive line just had their way.
They absolutely did.
Just no penetration.
Yeah.
Just had way too much time.
Just the scheme blocking too. On a lot of the plays, the Niners just weren't even there. Mm-hmm. There was I could have walked it in.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Keegan? What do you think about the game? Any thoughts? Niners?
Yeah. I mean, pretty much what you guys are saying. Defensively, they just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The Rams could just pretty much walk all the way down the field. It seemed like they always had someone open. The running game was working. I mean, there was just nothing they could really do. Offensively, I think they had some good plays. I know I don't know if you want to touch on one of your things, was the QB controversy.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk on that in a second. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
No. Yeah,
I
go
won't-
ahead.
I
Go
won't
ahead.
touch
Go
on it.
into it.
No,
Yeah.
no, no. I was just. Mac Jones has been fine.
Yeah.
I think he's fine.
Yeah.
I think he manages to keep things going. I think he's kind of like his mate from the Patriots. Old Jimmy. He's just gonna get that done, but he's
Yeah.
not gonna ever win you games. He's not really gonna go deep down the field very much.
Much more of a pocket passer. There's
Yeah.
definitely times in the game where I think, gosh, Brock might not have been able to do that. But then there's a lot of times in the game where I'm like, dang, with his legs, Brock would have been able to get out right there.
He's a good little scrambler.
Yeah.
That is true.
But no knock on Mac. No matter what, I have no
I think
idea.
Josh has something.
Yeah, let's
Well,
go ahead.
The
Go ahead,
defense,
please.
the defense average is 1 sack a game, and they have 1 interception in the last year.
Yeah, that's
Something needs to
terrible.
change. They need to quit playing zone everywhere. They need to do some man-on-man, get some pressure, send some more blitzes. Something needs to change.
All right, before we
too
get into that, because I want to ask you about that, because we got a lot. Because now that Chad's not here, we're going to talk Niners, man. We're going to talk a little bit of Niners. But so I wanted to ask you guys something. So about the Rams though, is like yesterday in the game, the announcers, they were talking pretty highly of the Rams, and I was watching them, and honestly, they're in my power rankings. They're one of the top teams in the NFC too. But they were talking about them like they don't have any weaknesses, and to me, I don't think that's so true. Their defense is not as good as I think that. They're very, very good. I'm not gonna say their offense is maybe top in the league, maybe, but their defense has some holes. And yesterday, the 49ers offense was able to do some things to them with Mac Jones, and I just don't know that the Rams are as good as some people think. Like,
Niners could have put up 40 on them if they didn't make all the mistakes they made.
Yeah. But yeah, it could have been a high scoring game. But
I mean, the Rams would have just scored 50.
other than that, though, the Devontae thing, the Niners, they should have really entertained him a lot more, because yesterday when I was watching that game, I couldn't help but think, if he was on our team and not their team right now, he wouldn't be doing this to us. And yesterday, that one touchdown against Mustafa was so bad, bro. As right when they lined up, he was right in front of him, and then he just burned him by like 5 yards.
He knew
bro.
before he knew
It was a free touchdown. It was like so free. They might have not even put anybody on it.
He knew as soon as he was going to run the route, he had it.
But Keegan, then I want to ask you, some people, Chad a few weeks ago was like, I think Chad was like stirring the pot a little bit, but like there was like maybe a quarterback controversy thing. And then I was kind of like, hey, hold on, there's no controversy. But now, like every week that kind of goes, like I'm kind of watching Mac, and like I'm just thinking, you never know, like what the turf toe thing. In your mind, is there any controversy, and what do you think how they're handling like the Brock Purdy thing so far? Like we don't really know, like if he's that hurt or what's really going on.
I mean, we know he's pretty hurt.
Yeah,
he
he's
hasn't
hurt
played since week 4.
Yeah,
So,
true. I think
and
there's
he
some
was-
people that think though that maybe like they're riding with the hot hand right now with Mac, and they're not rushing Brock Purdy back. You don't think that?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I,
But some people
$181
do.
million guaranteed.
Yeah, true.
I think that's a pretty.
And the only reason why I think they have him back up right now is they feel like we're a better team with Purdy on 1 foot than Adrian Martinez out there if we needed a backup. So that's why he's been backing up. But otherwise, this is just a move due to injury.
So Keegan, you don't think no quarterback controversy here?
No, not for me.
But you think if you were the coach, then like games like the other day, you don't think Brock Purdy would have made a difference to like win that game?
No.
Do you?
Unless
Do
he
you?
can make tackles on defense.
Yeah.
No,
Sorry,
I do. No. I do think it's more of a defensive problem than an offensive problem. But I do think that Brock Purdy adds a little bit more. Like you said, with his legs, he adds a
More
bit.
juice.
And I do think that he's a bit more aggressive in some of his throws. He's willing to go for the deep balls. He's willing to put the tight window throws, which he's been doing for the last couple of years.
No, yeah, for sure.
He'll require some level of spy work that Mac Jones doesn't.
It feels to me like the rest of their schedule is easy enough to where whether it's Mac Jones or Brock Purdy, they just need to get Brock Purdy to the playoffs healthy, no matter how that is. And honestly, if they can't make the playoffs with Mac Jones against the teams they have to play remaining, they probably don't deserve to get there. You know what I mean? Like they literally have a pretty easy schedule left where they should win out like more games than they lose. And I think if they do that, they'll at least be a wild card. And I think if that's what your mindset is, then the most important thing is getting Brock Purdy to that game somewhat healthy. You know what I mean?
Next 4 games: Cardinals, Panthers, Browns, and Titans. That's 3-1 at the least.
Yeah.
You need to 3-1, 4-0. You need to take advantage of that stretch.
I see it's not your fire alarm here, so I'm going to give you a chance to go off on them, but it was my last thing. You kind of were upset at them that they didn't make any trades at the deadline.
Yes,
at
absolutely.
the 49ers. And I was kind of like, I'm not saying that I don't agree with you. I do agree with you in some cases. I don't want to blow up the future. But
No, exactly.
but yeah, I'd love to hear your take on why you think the 49ers absolutely at the trade deadline should have made more deals. And I wanted them to make a deal too, but it just like, I didn't want them to overpay. Like that Sauce Gardner, he was a guy I wanted, but I didn't want to
Not
give up
two
like
first.
two first
No,
rounders.
absolutely not.
No.
Different franchises in different situations, but
Yeah, go
there
ahead.
were some guys they could have got for a third or a fourth rounder that I don't think would have set the franchise back, that would have given the defense a shot in the arm. They looked flat yesterday. They looked like a team that looked kind of demoralized before the game went on.
Yep.
Yeah.
I feel like the GM just didn't do enough. I'm not saying go out and get fleeced. I'm not saying pay the mortgage the future. I'm saying you see your lines banged up. You see your front eight is banged up. The defensive backs are healthy right now. You needed to do something.
Yeah.
Do you think though, like if they went out and they got like Trey Hendrickson, that is there a way? Because like I've been telling people, the only hope I'm holding out with for the Niners as far as like to win playoff games is if somehow Brock Purdy gets back and Ayuk and Pearsall get back, and then the offense is something different than we've seen over the last few years. Like the offense is just like electric, because those guys could, if they all come back healthy with Christian McCaffrey back there and George Kittle, that could be an electric squad, and they could just like beat people by outscoring them a little bit, right? But that's like my only hope. And then I was thinking if they were like somebody like Hendrickson or some like big defensive player, that's what their mindset was. But I think that they were kind of thinking, no matter what, even if our offense is electric, the defense is so maligned, we just don't have a chance at winning the Super Bowl this year.
I feel like they've been like that since free agency started.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
they could have done a little something. You alluded to some of the players like that Jalen Phillips guy, Bradley Chubb.
Yeah.
For the Dolphins were kind of selling out a little bit because they realized that they aren't really going anywhere this year. Wouldn't have cost that much and may have made a really big impact, especially down the line.
Yeah.
If if we're gonna get Purdy back, if we're gonna get Ayuk back, maybe we could see something happen. Maybe
Yeah.
they could
And
go a
that
little
and picks
further.
can be recouped in the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, they've kind of shown to be a little, I mean, every team is a little bit, but they've kind of showed to be sporadic. They've had some really good drafts. I think last year's draft was really, really good. This year's had some sprinkles in it or whatever. But yeah, you don't know that a third round pick is actually going to, be that great. The other thing I'll say to kind of like to be at their defense, this game, they didn't have a lot of defensive linemen, but they are going to get some of those guys back, and I think maybe that was part of it too. Is like once they get Huff back, Huff has played like crazy good this season, and Alfred Collins is a really good defensive tackle, a big upgrade over CJ West, and so I feel like maybe they think if they have those guys, it just wasn't worth it. But I agree. This Sunday, it was hella hard watching them, and they did feel a little demoralized. Like it almost seemed a little bit like, dude, you didn't get us anybody. Then freaking, you just have to sit here and watch this shit. Because they were getting pushed around on the D line like crazy. You're right.
I think I sent you the article, but Lynch himself said you guys need to play yourselves into a position to make a trade, and then the team went out and did that. The first 9 games, 6 of them were on the road, and they went 6-3.
Well, I'll tell you that. If I don't know what Lynch is saying in the background, but if he's kind of telling people or in the media, and I read that article and that kind of did change my mind about it. But if they're telling the team like, yo, guys, if you guys are in contention, like we're going to do everything we can to make moves, and they don't make any moves, I could absolutely see why the players on the team think that's like, kind of giving up.
Yeah.
But
you don't think we have a chance this year?
yeah, they brought in a lot of dudes though. That Cleveland Farrell guy came in, he played okay. That Sam Okawano guy, he's been on the team, but who's the other guy they signed? They traded for the Patriots for that Keon White.
Yeah,
but,
Devin White or something.
or Devin White, yeah. But
Something.
Anyways.
Devin, something.
anyways, any more Niners stuff, guys? I mean, it was an abysmal game. They have a pretty good, easy schedule. I don't think they should rush
Say
Purdy
we
back.
just flush this one down the toilet.
Yeah, let's just flush it, man. The Rams, they definitely treated it like a little mini Super Bowl online. They're
Kyron Williams got his little excitement back after the last game after you cried.
yeah.
You hear that, Kyron?
Yeah, it's always really, really tough to lose to the Rams. I can't lie.
Hate them.
Yeah, they're probably one of my least favorite teams to lose to. But switching gears, I want to talk a little bit about Mark Sanchez. And again, I wanted to talk about this a little bit with Chad because he was here when we brought it up the first time. And so Mark Sanchez, he got in trouble a few weeks ago now, it was. And he most recently got fired from Fox. We didn't know what was going to happen with that. But he's in Drew Brees is out, and then there was an article. I wish I could bring it up, but I can't. But essentially, it was like his family saying they're kind of disappointed in the news by Fox firing him, and I just kind of wanted to get your guys'
Entitlement.
take on it. Like, dude, we don't know the video what happened, but is there any universe? Is there any universe where Mark Sanchez is probably the victim here?
Have you seen the picture of the guy he attacked?
Yeah, I mean, like that's what I'm saying.
I can't argue it.
Yeah, it's
reading
like,
what I've read, seeing what I see, I can't argue anything.
if you were him, you might just like take in your papers and just resign the next day. You might, because you're rich. Like, why would you even want to like
thing I want
be
my
on
name
TV?
in the news anymore.
Yeah. I mean, but Keegan, what is your take on the? I'm sure you heard about what happened a few weeks ago.
Yeah. And I read about it as
Yeah,
well.
he stumbled into
there
a.
was
yeah.
there was no Well, he was like, I don't know. He was like jogging in the alley behind, and then he encountered this guy, like chased him around the truck.
Yeah, he was a delivery driver.
He was
or
backing
something?
his truck into a loading dock.
The guy was just trying to do his job. I'm not sure what he was doing. He was just obviously blind drunk or something.
Yeah.
I don't think there was ever a universe where he didn't end up getting fired. I mean, I think this was pretty abundantly clear, even at the time.
And what I said too is like, how terrifying. I mean, Mark Sanchez is probably like, I think we looked it up. He's like 6 foot something. I mean, he's not like a little dude. And if you're like a 60,
alpha,
70-year-old man and a dude like that comes up on you drunk too. So he's got like that drunk rage strength. You know what I mean? And like, apparently like the guy tried to pepper spray him and then, he couldn't, that didn't work. And then he probably pulled out his little pocket knife and just started stabbing because that's the only thing. But
fear for his life.
But but Mark Sanchez out. We all agree. I don't understand what's going on. Can't wait to. I mean, I can't wait. It's a sad story, but I'm anxious to see the end of this. I'd like to see what happened. That's got Mark Sanchez's family feeling like he somehow was wronged here at all. But to switch it, Drew Brees has been hired in his place. You like that hiring? You think Drew Brees is going to be a good announcer? Yeah.
He just, you watched him on the field. He's got one of those brains that he's going to be able to explain the game in a different way.
Yeah. I haven't really seen him. Announce. I hope he's not going to end up like a Tom Brady, who's pretty, obviously he knows the game very well, but maybe doesn't really come across as well announcing.
Yeah.
But I think anytime you get someone with a brain like that, with a football brain, it's interesting to hear what they say. So.
You think Tom Brady comes across as like what, like a little rigid, or?
I don't know if I really like his style as much.
When he calls Niners games, you can tell the Niners passed on him 7 times.
Yeah. He does kind of let you see his slight there. I think he's pretty good, but I think it's very, very hard for him. Like, as a good announcer, you want to obviously kind of use a little bit of your experience. Like Chris Collinsworth, he doesn't talk about his Bengals days too much. You know what I mean?
He's talking about losing to us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he does talk about that a lot. But like, a good announcer, kind of harkens to it, but doesn't talk about themselves all the time. For Tom Brady, it's just so difficult, because like he's the greatest of all time. I was thinking they were like, Michael Jordan was supposed to come back for NBC this year and do something, and then they announced it, and it was like the other night, it was just a sit-down interview with Mike Tirico, and everybody was like, that's lame. They thought he was going to come back and call some games, right?
Yeah.
But I was kind of thinking, dude, it's like Michael Jordan, and I love him. If you see in this room, there's a lot of Michael Jordan stuff, but like he's kind of a prick, and like he's just not the best guy to call a game, and like everything's gonna be through kind of his eyes, the greatest of all time, and so
Kobe was too.
I kind of agree, and Kobe wouldn't have been a good announcer.
The great
either.
ones have to be that way.
Yeah. So I can kind of you're right. I don't think that Tom Brady is like the best, but certain games it is nice kind of getting his GOAT insight, but he's not the type of guy I would want to listen to for all the games. Yeah. You got a favorite announcer you like?
It's not Chris Collinsworth. That's
he's boring too,
that
man.
guy, man. Oh my gosh.
He's so boring.
Probably.
You like Troy Aikman, Joe Buck? They're kind of.
I would say they're probably my favorite team.
I like Aikman.
Yeah.
I think
Buck,
Aikman,
I can take or leave.
Yeah, I like Aikman. Yeah. I kind of like Greg Olson. He was good.
Olson is
good.
Good.
Greg Olson.
I think
he got replaced by.
Did you like Mark Sanchez at all?
No, not really. He stumbled on his words a lot.
Yeah, I actually really like Tony Romo though.
Oh, I like Romo.
I like Romo too.
Tony knows, like Tony the Dreamer. He knows.
He makes it fun.
But Tony Romo knows, dude. He'll be like, I think this one's gonna be a draw, and it's like he always does with Nance too. Mm-hmm. Him and Nance always do it together. Yeah, they're so good.
You like yourself some Nance.
Oh yeah.
There was a part,
especially Masters.
Oh yeah, they're having a good old time up there.
There was a part where he's calling the game the other day, Romo, and he read the mouth of the coach. He's like, darn it. Just the way he says it. It's just funny.
Yeah. He's definitely, Romo kind of cracks me up though, because he was like a very, the teams were talented, and he was pretty skillful. He was a great fantasy football quarterback, but he would always do some silly stuff in the playoffs. They would always jumble it. And it's funny hearing him commentate because to me, he is one of the most knowledgeable. Like, he's so quick with it, and like he's just, and you could tell he was a quarterback, but yet whenever he was playing, his mind wasn't able to compute it as fast as he wanted to.
Mhm.
You know, because he would have put together more. His mind is
Like
the Tom Brady
like
of
trying to
football.
hold down a field goal.
Yeah, exactly. But he just he had a lot going on. You know, he was messing around with Jessica Simpson. Remember that? That was that was a little distracting. I think if he could go back, he would probably not do that. Don't you think?
You think he wouldn't do that?
He was in the stands all the time.
He probably would.
I think I can go back to it.
No, he would do it, but he would definitely smash. But no, have you seen pictures of her lately, man? It's rough. It's rough, Jessica Simpson. But anyways, all right, moving onwards and upwards. Now is a time of the show every single week where we do the Cool Kids Club. This is a segment on the show where we name one person this week in the NFL that did something awesome. We put on glasses in studio. I gotta scoot over to you here a little bit. I'm not in frame completely, but anyways, we are gonna go around the table. I'll start, just so I can warm us up. My cool kid is gonna be Davante Adams. I was watching him yesterday, and his career seems invigorated since being over there. I believe he leads the league in touchdowns right now. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for defenses because on the other side, they got Puka Nacua, and they were kind of doing that thing last year with Cooper Kupp, but he just wasn't healthy enough, and he had lost a step. But Davante Adams has not lost a step. He's a problem over there on the side, and with Puka Nacua, and I think I had it written down here, 18 tight ends that they have. They literally have they have the best tight ends in the league by a mile. It's not even close. And Kyron Williams, they're going to be a problem. And Davante Adams, he had a great game yesterday. He was just dicing up all day, and he's my cool kid, Davante Adams. Happy for him, too. I don't like the Rams, but I'm happy for him. I never like to see real good players like that die on rosters. And he was dying on that roster, but I so hope that Matthew Stafford gets injured one game, so he has to play with Garoppolo again. But go ahead. Who's your cool kid, Josh?
Well, I can't take a Ram, so I'm taking Kittle. He was, from the very beginning, the only one that was really giving the team any juice. He was fun to watch. He was running guys over. Really, nothing else going for the team. He brought some energy, some juice. That stretch touchdown at the end where he hit the pylon, that was just great stuff.
That was amazing. That was literally like a blade of grass keeping him in, and the announcers, they nailed it on the head right after that touchdown. They were like, Kittle's that guy that he's going to play the same whether they're getting blown out or whether they're, winning or it's a tight game. He's just going to go for it.
He's an everyman player.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad they signed him to a long-term deal. They need to make more signings like that, less signings with the diva type guys. You know what I mean? But Keegan, who do you like? I like that USA thing, by the way.
Thanks.
All right, who do you like, Keegan?
It's kind of funny because I thought I'm not going to go with an obvious one here, but it's kind of crazy. None of us have mentioned Gibbs or Taylor or Henderson.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to mention either of those guys.
I know. Yeah, Gibbs and Taylor. Yeah.
I mean, they were fantastic.
Easy. But almost every week.
For me, it was actually DeMarcus Lawrence and the Seahawks defense.
Yeah.
Scoring those 2 touchdowns. I think that defense, you talked about the Rams defense, who I do think have a good defense.
Yeah, they do.
The Seahawks have a really nice
Bro, the
defense.
Seahawks might have the best D line in the NFL, dude. Who was that Samoan guy with the braid, bro? The nose tackle? He's a monster. I don't know his name, but he's a monster. He's always blowing it up. But yeah, they have some crazy good defensive linemen. And they always have some hard hitters in the secondary and the linebacking corps. What's his name? Njigba has really stepped into number 1 role, and Donald's slinging it around.
They were saying in the offseason he wanted to be great, and he worked at it, and it's showing.
Who are you more scared of as a Niners fan, the Seahawks or the Rams? Because they're gonna play this. They're gonna play this week, so that's a huge game for them. They're gonna play this week. That's a big game.
I would say.
Yeah, who are you more scared of as a Niners fan? Who would you?
Either one of them present their own challenges.
They do, yeah.
So you're not gonna give an answer, huh?
I think
we
can beat. I think the Niners can beat either, and I think they can lose to either.
Yeah, for sure. I'd much rather
in different ways.
The Seahawks though in the playoffs.
Sorry, I know that's not the answer.
No, that's okay. Hey, that's okay. I just wanted to know.
I think the Rams, just because I think they are a more complete team, and I do think that Stafford is kind of a little bit more proven than Donald. Although I've been reading, you guys know that I'm a fan of Sam Donald. I think he's been great over the last couple of years. Yeah. But I do think probably the Rams a little bit more so.
Cool. I like that. I like that. All right. Well, we're going to get into MVP discussion. We only got a little bit left to go here. Oh, I guess we got about like 15, 20 minutes. Show's going a little fast because I don't have the things behind me, but that's okay. We're going to bust out an hour here.
Yeah.
We got MVP discussion, man. I was looking forward to hearing who Chad had for this one as well, but that's okay.
Gonna keep the glasses on.
Oh no, got to take these bad boys off. And I wish I had the thing
I like the look.
to put it behind me because I had the whole list of MVPs, but I sent it to you guys today, so you guys know. It was like, who were some of the guys at the top? Do you have it on your text message? Maybe pull it up just so we can kind of talk about the odds.
Drake May was leading.
Yeah, and Drake May was leading. I know we got the usual suspects there, the Patrick Mahomes, the Josh Allen types. But, I know Jonathan Taylor was on there. But want to go around the table and see who you guys have for your... Yeah, you got it here.
Top three are Drake, May, Stafford, and then Mahomes.
Yeah, and then Mahomes, Jonathan Taylor,
Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, 6.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts, Baker
7.
Mayfield. So, I know Baker Mayfield and, Drake May are going to be some of the, darling picks that we get every year. Remember when Brock Purdy was in it, but they wouldn't let him have it. But anyway, so anyways, I wanted to get your guys' take. Maybe I'll go first to give you guys a little bit of time to look at that list. I know you already thought about it. But my guy, I wanted to go Drake May for just, that's my Cinderella story pick, right? But he's not going to win it, I don't think. They never give it to a guy like that, I don't think. And then I really feel like if we're doing like in the NBA, it's like every year it would be LeBron, but he doesn't win it every year. It's like Josh Allen is my MVP, who I actually think is the MVP. But if I got to go with who I think's going to win it this year and who would have my vote, it would be Matthew Stafford. I just think that he's playing really, really good ball. He has the most touchdowns in the NFL. Yesterday, he looked pretty good on his feet, which usually that's kind of his weakness. They were really killing it on the play action. And I just think he's the mix of a guy that I actually think can win it because he has the name recognition and he's been around for a while. And also, he's leading his team really,
Plus,
really
he's
good.
making friends with Aaron Andrews and all these other people in the media.
Yeah,
that doesn't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. People like him. He's going to get some votes. So I would not be surprised. To me, Matthew Stafford is the legitimate front runner right now for the MVP. If the vote was today, I think he would win it. What do you think?
I wouldn't argue with that, but I have him as an honorable mention. My top 3 is Drake May, then Jonathan Taylor, then Christian McCaffrey.
CMC honorable mention.
To me, it's hard to put a lot of guys ahead of Christian just because he's been the 49ers basically entire offense until Kittle just came back. And they're treading water at the moment, still having a chance, even just losing this game last Sunday.
Yeah. I think there could be. I don't know where CMC actually is on the list, but I think there's a case for he's higher than a lot of other guys on there. So if you're gonna say that most valuable player is if this guy wasn't on the team, where would they be? The Niners would be in trouble without CMC for sure. There's no doubt about it, especially with all the injuries that happened at the beginning of the season. We thought he was going to get injured and maybe there was going to be other guys on the field, and now it's been the opposite. And so if they didn't have him, they would be screwed, and they have a good record in the NFL.
And whoever has Mahomes as the third best option right now, I don't understand. He's not even in my top 10 right now, probably.
Yeah, I don't know. But, Mahomes, I think that goes to this,
they have to be thinking they're going to come back
Kobe,
and win the division or
LeBron,
something.
those guys are always going to be in the MVP race. And so that's for me, if MVP was really MVP and I had to choose somebody, I'd take Josh Allen, right? Over Drake May, right?
Year.
But I like it that we vote on it based on who has the best season. I like it to be a season award. And so I could see why Drake May, if he finishes like that, will win it. But I think Matthew Stafford is the darling, and I think if he's close to Drake May in record, he will win it. But go ahead, Keegan.
Mm-hmm. Well, to be honest with you, I actually think Patrick Mahomes probably would be my pick to win.
Hey, man.
I think he himself has actually been playing some really good football this year, and he's really sparked that offense.
Yeah.
They've kind of been a little stagnant over the last maybe couple of years. They're playing a lot of runnings, short passes. I think he's been pretty good this year.
Yeah.
And in terms of a team that is going to be featuring in the playoffs, I think that they definitely will get there.
Yeah.
One way or another, they always find a way to win. So I think that he's got to be in the conversation. Castillo is number 3. Josh Allen's number 5. Daniel Jones with the the success of the team is way back down there. He's
Yeah.
like number 12.
And
maybe.
Darnold's up there, but like
Sam
you know,
Darnold, yeah.
I'm surprised to see Baker Mayfield. They've kind of faltered the last few weeks, but he was the darling a few weeks
to
ago.
be fair, though,
They've been banged up on offense.
No, I know. Yeah, that's. But yeah,
losing.
he could be. You could easily make a case that he's the MVP. If they didn't have him, they'd be like
Yeah, he's in my
in
honorable
big trouble.
mentions.
Yeah.
No,
Tez
absolutely.
Johnson's their best receiver right now besides Ibuka.
Yeah, Ibuka's been good, man.
I drafted Evans and Godwin with Baker this year, thinking, oh, I got great setup now. And
I know you got to play him that first game, and then he got injured like within the first few
Evans?
minutes.
Yeah.
That sucked. I know.
It's
He's
always
been
kind of funny
fine.
when this happens though, because like one of these guys like Drake May or somebody could win the MVP and then get smoked by Patrick Mahomes in the first round.
first
of the playoffs.
round,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So it is.
or
It's
just
a season,
completely fade off.
it's
from
a
here.
season award, but I like it that way because if it wasn't a season award, it would just be stupid. It would just go to like the same guy all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Who we like the most.
Yeah. Or
And
like-
it can swing. It can, even though it's a season award, it can swing, like you said. You know, if you get a couple results that go, all of a sudden those people kind of fall down, and then other people kind of rise up.
Exactly.
Exactly.
I do think Matt Stafford has had a really good season, but he's also, I listened to this podcast and they call it a jerk face touchdown. It's those very short little ones right by the goal line to pad your stats.
Oh yeah, he's definitely had
I
a
mean,
lot of
that
those.
him and Adams have done that a lot. Kyron Williams, not as many rushing touchdowns this year.
They said all of Adams' touchdowns are within 5 yards.
Bro, it definitely wasn't skillful. I mean, it wasn't the most skillful touchdown. I probably could have thrown that
Well,
one.
I think
You know what I mean? Like
I
he
think
was,
that Adams
dude, he
dropped
was
it.
wide open.
A lot of times
Adams
they
is
just have
playing
receivers creating screens, basically.
Yeah, that's what kind of what happened on that play. But yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree. The team is really, really good. I just think, like I said, like Drake May. I just don't know. Sometimes it like the person kind of has to have a little bit of a pedigree for them to like really give it to him. But yeah, I
This is
would.
his first good year.
I would agree. I wouldn't like it to go to Matthew Stafford. Really, I'd love for it to go to like somebody fun, like Baker Mayfield. But maybe I'm sour.
I don't
because,
I don't like
the-
smiling Matthew Stafford.
The year
for
whenever
sure.
like Purdy was in it, people were like adamant that Purdy could not win it because like the team was so good, and so I think there's certain guys that are just
After
not.
that Baltimore game, he had no shot.
Yeah, that was when he lost.
that was
Yeah,
a
that
rough
Christmas
game.
day.
That switched him and Lamar around.
Yeah,
agreed.
yeah, that was.
But Lamar was excellent.
Yeah, that was
He was really, really
Anybody
good.
on the list? Oh, you honorable mentions. You already mentioned those.
I do think the unfortunate thing, Josh, you have a good point with like Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor. It's pretty much if you're not a quarterback, you're not going to win this award.
Pretty much.
It's almost the odds are so much against you. So it is unfortunate, but those guys have definitely been huge for their teams this year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
I love Taylor knowing that he's going to be the focal point and he's still producing.
Oh yeah, he's been great.
Yeah.
He's been great, and I'm annoyed that I didn't take him in fantasy.
I know, I had him there too.
I nearly took him.
I'm glad that you said that. You're giving me the perfect segues here, Keegan. I'm glad that you said that because we are going to talk about fantasy football right now. You guys got to pull up your fantasy squads. We're going to talk about who's hot, who's not. The unfortunate thing is my fantasy squad is maybe I can pull it up here while you guys are pulling up yours, but so I can actually discuss it.
Pull
But,
up the shorts.
but yes, Keegan, tell us who's hot, who's not on your fantasy squad this week, and tell us what happened in fantasy football for you.
This hasn't been my finest week, to be honest. My team has been so. The last 3 weeks, it looks like I'm going to have a loss, and I've lost to old Jason this week, which I'm happy about. Actually.
Yes, actually, that was good for the league. I'm not gonna lie. Jason was he's on the cusp here, and he needs a victory to stay alive. And you were able to give it to him. We'll get to me in a second. When we will get to me in a
The
second,
giving
but I was
season.
also able to give someone a victory that helped him. But go ahead, Keegan.
If we're talking about just on the week,
Yeah, who let you down this week? Tell me who really just let you down.
my team hasn't really had anyone who really, I guess maybe hurts tonight, because obviously I traded away a couple guys who I quite liked for him. He hasn't really produced. This is kind of a defensive game though, so right now he's probably my worst player. Everyone else has been kind of okay, to be honest. Lamar, I was hoping for a few more points from him, but that game, I don't know. It wasn't really a great game from him. He didn't really do much special.
Who do you think is
This is funny.
Who's your most frustrating guy on your team? Who's that?
My most frustrating.
Yeah,
guy.
who would you say is the most frustrating guy that you can't figure out whether you want to put him on your bench or start him every week?
I think the guy who's underperformed that I like the most, I think he's a really good footballer, is Nico Collins. Although he had a good week.
Yeah.
He's kind of been a little I just think it's Houston has really struggled this year. That offensive line has been bad.
Yeah, they have.
I don't think that Stroud has performed his best at times, and I think a lot of it has to come from that. I don't think he's a bad football player. I do think that he's just been struggling.
It's another system. He's learning a new system.
Yeah, so I would probably say him.
Nico Collins. All right, who you got? Josh?
Honorable mention, Brees Hall as well.
Struggling.
Just because the team
On and off. Oh, yeah.
Team's terrible.
Yeah,
and the only thing that worked. Did you guys see Justin Fields this weekend?
No.
I think he had like 64 passing yards or something like that.
Yeah, it
was just horrendous.
They're in trouble. We talked about that the last episode, I think, before we took a little break here about the owner, kind of throwing Justin Fields under the bus, and that is a toxic situation over there.
Terrible.
Check this out: Baker Mayfield and DeAndre Swift combined for 41.22 points. The rest of my team combined for 41-22 this week.
So safe to say, Baker Mayfield was hot. He's been pretty hot for you all season.
Swift was okay. He got me 80 yards and a few catches. Everybody else was trash.
I think I can point out maybe
Garrett Wilson and DJ Moore combined for 1 tackle as 2 wide receivers.
Okay,
that's how my week went.
What about on your bench? I think you have him.
I have basically nothing good on my bench.
I have this chap right there, and I've got to say he's one of the most frustrating.
Trotsky Merritt.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what to do with him. Cut him or
exactly because you don't want to cut him.
You don't do nothing because he's the starter.
Yeah, I know. He had that one big game. Who did they play? Was it against the Chargers?
Might have been. I know he put up like 25 points.
Yeah,
in one game.
He looked great.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fantastic! I put him right back into my team. He was terrible, and he's just been kind of squandering all his opportunities. I think he had 13 touches and 3 fantasy points.
And he had 30 yards and nothing else. Yeah.
Horrible. But also,
I tried to trade him a few times this season, and nobody wanted to take him.
I did the same in another league.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just don't want to cut him because I know somebody's gonna pick him up, and then he's gonna explode during the garbage time of the year.
Absolutely. It's hard to cut a running back, especially one, even if it's been bad.
Yeah.
They're starting.
Yeah.
Although I must say, Aaron Jones, he looked pretty good coming back.
I know.
Like it
I know that.
I might be touching on your player.
No, I know. I was that might be. He's my most frustrating guy now because he only had 25 rushing yards. We're talking about Jordan Mason here, but yeah, that's been kind of frustrating because I was hoping he was going to take over the job. But you know what? Aaron Jones is a really, really good back as well, and he does a lot.
Mason for Crosby.
Yeah, he does. I know. You know what I wanted to ask you guys though, because I was going to talk about. I didn't know if Ryan was going to be here but I had the Raiders game on there. But so Bowers had a huge game last week, and then this week
I've got Bowers on my team.
Yeah. You have him.
He won you a week last week.
He was pretty
he
quiet.
He won and didn't do nothing this week.
But I more wanted to ask. I had it on my phone, and I was going to talk about if we were going to talk Raiders. But after the game, Gino was just playing terrible.
That was
after the game, he's like, "Yeah, we just got to put our heads down and work on it." And da, da, da. It's man, dude, he is so bad this season. Usually the Raiders are bad, and then I'm thinking the Raiders, the player that went there, the Raiders are making that player worse. And I know Gino has been better, but he seems very disinterested, and he's playing.
Sometimes a player, just for the fans, needs to look in the camera and say, "I suck. I need to play better," and he needs to do that.
Yeah. Do you think he kind of got the bag and is really just just
he's
calling it in on the Raiders? Though?
He's in his 30s now. He's comfortable with his old friendly coach, and he's in Vegas. I mean, he just seems comfortable.
I don't think he's ever. I know you've had sort of the same opinion where he's never really been that good a player. Okay. I think at the Seahawks he had a better system, so he managed to perform there. The Raiders are just a terrible team, man. The O-line is not working. The defense is not good.
Wide receivers aren't very good.
Nope, they just don't.
But Chris always said. Chris said, he really likes to throw the moon ball. That's what Chris said. And that's true. And no matter where he's been, he's always been on teams that can at least put up some points and keep you honest because he'll launch it down the field.
Yeah, Metcalf and Lockett.
Yeah, they're just not doing it.
He didn't
have any time though either because he was on his ass I think 8 times in that game. He just kept on getting smashed and then he was banged up, went off the field, came back on. It just did not look good.
Yeah,
they've got multiple issues.
Yeah, they do. They have so many issues, and I'll tell you what, it's kind of hard. It's kind of perplexing because the squad on paper, it would seem that they should be able to put a better product out on the field, and then they have Tom Brady associated, and Pete Carroll's not a bad coach. He's a good coach. You know what I mean? So what's the deal?
Wasn't there a game recently where they got shut out and only had 3 first downs the entire game? I think it was against Kansas City, right? They had 3 first downs the entire game.
But even Pete Carroll when he was with the Seahawks, and they always, that was kind of their thing. They always kind of made the best with with not a lot of free agents going to there. So it's like, you can't like, I don't know, you can't really use like that. The Raiders don't have the Raiders have got a lot more starters than the
I
Niners
feel
do.
like
You know
every
what I
drive
mean?
with him.
But are they any?
Sorry.
But are they? Sorry, go on.
Go.
No,
No.
you guys.
I was just gonna say, are they any good though? I mean,
No, I guess not.
Who do they really have? They have Crosby. I like Jonty. I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have any room to run. His line doesn't make any holes for him. Like, who else do they really have on that team?
But like Myers was good, right?
Mine's is fine, but
Yeah.
he's just a nice, solid
Yeah.
player, and he's like a number 2. Yeah, I think he's fine, but he's
Well,
not
like
gonna
last
go
year
out
they
there and
had
win
Devon,
for you.
but like last year they didn't have Genty. Fair enough. So the run game was the problem,
Oh,
big
Bowers
time.
as well, didn't
But
they?
like and they didn't have Devontae for the whole thing. But I'm just saying, or maybe did they have Devontae for the whole? Anyways, but like they've had wide receivers too. It's just I don't know. They're a little bit like one of those organizations
But-
that it's
Well,
slightly.
splash players only make an impact if you've got the depth to go along with it. Raiders
Absolutely.
haven't had that.
And with Adams, it's like, yes, he was still performing. I think he's still playing very well.
Yeah.
But he didn't have anyone to throw him the ball
Yeah.
that was like decent.
Yeah.
Like he was dealing with, they had the
That Jimmy
like, three. It
Garoppolo.
was like,
Yeah.
Garoppolo.
and then what's his name?
Aiden
The other-
O'Connell,
What's the other chap's name?
with the mustache. Yeah.
Minshew.
Minshew.
Yeah, they were kind of hyped. on him.
Gardner.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
great.
I think the bottom line is Geno it's got to me the the Raiders obviously have problems, but Geno is not helping because he's been better than this in his career and he's playing like worse than ever. I think.
And then what do they do about that though?
They don't. That's
They
what I'm
don't have
saying.
anyone.
Oh,
really.
there's.
Who's their number 2 there?
I don't know.
I think you just keep playing them and hope you get a higher draft pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I think absolutely okay. They signed Jimmy G, and then they signed Minshew, and then they signed Geno. All those were huge contracts. I don't know about the Minshew one, but the Jimmy G one was a big contract for like a backup, for a league backup. It was still big. It was like 3 years, 50 million or something like that. You can look it up. It was big. They should not sign
He's
any
made
more
so
big
much money
name
over his
contracts.
career.
That's what they should not do anymore. They should not. Like this offseason, they should have just waited until the very end and then like I don't know who's of it. They should. Why didn't they get Flacco? You know what I mean? Like they could have just got Flacco.
For a draft pick for a 6th.
He can. Flacco can win you 2 games of a season. You know what I mean? And he can sling it.
Flacco at 41 is better than Geno at
Yeah.
32 or
I
whatever.
think so. But
Getting rough
anyway,
for Gino.
yeah, my guy, I kind of bag on him every single week, and he's like, it's you know what? The Niners have a similar problem that they can't do anything about, and his name is Jawan Jennings. Right now, they have a guy who's the best wide receiver on the team. There's no doubt about that. But he's just like grumpy. You could tell he's grumpy. I mean,
He's got sad face all
he's
game.
still doing stuff out there, but like every time they're interviewing him, whether he has a good game or a bad game, he's just very short with them. They were asking him about the drop. He's like, I can tell you it won't happen again. Like it was just like that. Like, you know, he's real grumpy. It's a bummer. I can't understand. Whenever I watch the game, I try to get in his mind and I try to think like, what is he thinking that this is going to accomplish? Like he is pissed at the Niners because they didn't give him the more money and that they gave Ayuk the money and they didn't restructure. I get it. The Niners told him no. He's not hurt. He's on a contract here. He's playing for big money right now. What is he doing? He's shooting himself in the foot. Like he's not going to get as much money. Like it doesn't have to do with the Niners. If it were me, I'd be like, F the Niners. I'm just going to go out there and play as hard as I can and then deuces at next season. I don't ever have to, I'm going to get the bag and then, you know, they're going to wish they had me, you know, but he's like making it to where teams are not going to line up for him.
You weren't a wide receiver when you played football, were you?
No.
You're thinking rationally.
No, I know.
These
yeah.
are emotional, almost XX creatures here.
I know, but has it gotten so bad in the NFL that it's time to start thinking about how you do business with them different? You know what I mean? The wide receivers. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, every one of them gets paid, and then they almost every one of them gets paid, and then they literally stop producing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And even when they don't get paid, when they're like up on a contract year, like a year or two before it, if they start to have production, that was his like first real year of like what you would call like top wide receiver or wide receiver 2 production numbers. And he thinks he should get a new deal. And it's just a bummer. I hate to stop and talk about him, but he's really hard because every week I have to start him a lot like the Niners do. And I'm sure Shanahan is feeling a lot like me. Like, dang it, I wish this guy would just get his head out of his butt and play to his full potential because they're probably feeling like every week he's leaving a lot on the field, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. But
It's akin to Debo last year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The Mason situation is pretty tough. The guy who's been Keegan, I got to give you a fist bump. Mac Jones. Keegan made me a trade. I was scrambling, man. My hardest one actually has been Brock Purdy this year because obviously you draft him as your quarterback, you want him to play, and then he's been injured like every single week. And I was thinking like in the middle of it, like, oh, he'll come back in like a few weeks, so I don't need Mac Jones anymore. And I dropped him, and then I was doing the shuffle, and then I needed Mac Jones again, dude, because I should have never dropped him. And Keegan was able to trade him back for me. But honestly, Mac Jones for the 49ers themselves and for my fantasy team, he's been a trooper, dude. Without Mac Jones, I'd be in trouble because, he just he's fitting in there pretty seamless, and he is slinging it around. So Mac Jones, I appreciate you, and that is my fantasy squad. Moving on, we only have a few more left. 56 minutes. We're doing good on time here. We're going to get you out of here on time, Tony. Is the fire alarm, guys. This is a segment every single week where we pull the fire alarm on somebody. This is bad. This is the opposite of the Cool Kids Club. You do not want to be on this list. This is a negative. And so
Look at that helmet.
Yeah,
Dobbs.
yeah.
I love it.
So we'll go to you first, Josh. Who are you pulling the fire alarm this week and why?
I mentioned it earlier when we talked about my team, but I got two people. I got DJ Moore and Garrett Wilson. Two wide receivers that were projected to give me about 25 points combined for one solo tackle.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
He took it personally
Can't do it
this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like Mike Singletary would say.
Yeah. So, yeah, they burned you in fantasy football. When somebody burns me in fantasy football like that, I must drop them immediately. Like, it's personal. Like, I push the button extra hard. Like,
I'll try to trade. I
think
can't.
those are pretty
I
hard
can't
to
cut
drop.
them.
Especially Garrett Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Depending on his
really
injury,
like-
though.
Yeah, I know. 3 to 4 weeks, maybe.
Is that what they're saying?
Yeah.
yeah, that's brutal. That's brutal.
Woohoo.
That is just.
My whole team this year.
I know.
I'll segue in then because speaking about
The
Garrett
injuries have
Wilson,
been brutal.
just the New York Jets just are such a
Yeah.
The jest.
yeah, exactly. It is just it's crazy over there. I don't know what they're doing.
They don't.
The coach is not naming his starting quarterback every single
he
week.
picked that up. Oh my gosh. That's not a safety, but that was crazy.
We're going to be close here. We have a play here where possible safety.
No, he was out at the one.
They're trying
The
to
half yard line.
We'll see if he does.
His knee came down in the end zone, but the ball was out. Why pick that up if you're Philly? They might be talking about if that's a touchback.
Yeah, they're going to get a replay on this. Well, my fire alarm person
Sorry.
is no. You're good. We got to take game breaks. That's important. That my fire alarm is Daboll. Man, they fired him today. They finally fired him after all this time. And to me,
They listened
honestly, I thought like last
Yeah,
year I was
touchback.
saying like, why have they not fired this guy?
That was blatant.
They were losing.
No, the whole time he's in the end zone.
His foot's on the white though, right?
But he was in there before, or did he reestablish position?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't really know what the rule is right there if it's
There
touchback.
you go.
All right, so they rule it a
Just
touchback.
good.
So nothing crazy, but yeah, like to me, like I don't know, I was kind of like Daboll. He's kind of cute and cuddly to me, or something. I don't know. Like I said, well, why fire him? But there seemed like there was a lot of opportunities, maybe last year, the year before, where they just could have fired him, and seemed like they endured. And like honestly, the Giants were kind of turning the ship around. I didn't see like a lot of. Didn't seem like they were having a lot of like cancerous press conferences or there was a lot of drama. In fact, I really felt like him and Dart was kind of his decision to bench Russell Wilson in favor of Dart, and that they were going to kind of have like a little duo for the foreseeable future. But I guess I'm wrong.
I'm wondering how
Go
much of his having Dart doing design runs and then getting a concussion had something to do with it.
You think maybe the owner? But like
That's your franchise quarterback right there, and he's doing more design runs than everybody.
most of those plays though, like Dart is running for the sideline, and then like instead of just going out, Dart's the one that leans in, like smashes them. You know what I mean?
It's not good for his future.
Yeah. But so you think maybe
It's cool to watch though.
yeah. I don't know. I just thought the timing of it was weird. Like New York Giants have been bad for a while. It's not his fault that Scadaboo got injured, and I thought to me, if I'm looking at the New York Giants, it was just like they're an organization like the Raiders or like who we're talking about that doesn't have a lot of direction. And they were looking for that. And I think they kind of finally found it with Jackson Dart and Scadaboo. And so why fire him? I thought they were on the up and up at this point, but I guess I'm looking at it wrong. But what did you think about the Daboll firing?
I was surprised it took so long.
Yeah.
They haven't been winning. They haven't shown signs that they're gonna. I mean, they've got some foundational pieces now, but it's a results-driven business, and especially in a place like New Jersey, since they always want to call San Francisco Santa Clara. In places like New Jersey, they want to win. So
yeah,
different expectations than say Tampa or somewhere smaller, a little bit smaller.
No, I
Chris?
agree. I'm surprised that it took that long.
Chris says, why did they hang it on donut balls? I don't know what that means. Joe Schoen needs to go. Who's that? I don't know who that is, Chris, but I agree with you. Joe Schoen needs to go. All right, last thing here, and then we'll go. We'll end the show. But you guys got your fire alarms in, right? Yeah. Oh, you said the Jets. Yeah, they're lowly. They're pretty pitiful.
It's terrible.
For sure.
And that might be a one and done for their coach too.
Yeah, absolutely.
He has won 2 in a row though, so good for him. At least.
Yeah.
Aaron Glenn, right? He was
Yeah.
a good player in his day.
Yeah. I like
and
that.
good with the Lions too.
Have you seen that meme of him like running down the sidelines where he's like,
Yeah.
Oh, he was running so fast.
no, and now they just like
He was outrunning the players.
Yeah, he was excited about that. But
I loved it.
I love the meme. But all right, this is the last thing. This was like a bonus one, and it's because I want to make sure that I got it in the show. But like my favorite storyline right now is the Carly Ursay thing with the Colts, dude. I just think it's like really, really cool. I had a cool video here where she was like talking from the press booth where like she's been listening in on the headsets during the game, and like she's really, really into it.
Go.
And I was gonna ask you guys if you thought that was a little much or too, but
You're the owner.
You can't argue with the fact that they're winning, and it might be a little bit of a micromanaging. I'm sure that honestly this will probably get old when they're not winning anymore. But for this one season, I love the story. I like seeing her on the sideline. She's like dressed up. She's obviously a bajillionaire. She's got like $1 million bracelets on, all dressed to the hilt, and then she has like a Colts fitted on her head. You know what I mean? Like I think it's really cool. I like when owners are
take ownership.
Yeah, take ownership. And to me, I don't care if you're like, one thing I'll say about Jerry Jones, he's kind of silly and he's kind of crazy, but he loves the Cowboys, and he always freaking is like, trying to make moves and trying to do stuff, and he cares about his team. And to me, that's all you can ask for from your ownership. So it seems pretty cool. But what do you think about that? Carly Ursay, her sisters, and
reminds me of Mark Cuban in like the early 2000s when you see him at every Dallas game just being a fanatic. That's what you want as a fan. You want to see your owners be a fan because they're more likely to put into the team to win versus an owner like John Fisher for the A's.
Oh, Saquon with a crazy spin move.
I'll finish that in a second.
No, go ahead.
Like John
ahead.
Fisher with the
Saquon
A's who just wants public money so he can move it to another city.
Yeah.
It's nice to see owners that want to win where they're at with what they have.
Yeah. There was a lot of people online when the Dodgers just won, and I saw like online there were some people who were like, the Dodgers, they spend all the money just to win, and then there was other people though who were a little more rational about it, which I could see it both ways.
Rodgers is a billionaire himself in Canada.
Well, yeah, but there was other people who were like, why get mad at the Dodgers because they're spending money? Get mad at your team for not spending.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
that's
so I like what they're doing over there with the Colts. I like that the thing. I was gonna show it, dude. It was literally a picture of her with the fitted on. Looking.
Oh, that's a touchdown.
Nice one.
Touchdown, Philadelphia. Devontae Smith. Touchdown from Jalen Hurts. 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so 10-0. Eagles,
there you go.
Eagles coming up here. But there was a picture I had, dude. I'll send it to you guys.
He gave away quite a bit for him.
And she's kind of looking evil into the camera with her fitted on, and it says, fuck them pigs. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just like, I liked it. But anyways, anything else to say about the Colts? It's been a cool season for them. I mean, I was kind of a little hater early on, and I didn't think they were going to be able to keep it up. But they're keeping it up. They're going to be a playoff team, and we'll see.
I've honestly liked them since Harbaugh was quarterback, but they're blue and white, just cool
Oh,
colors.
really?
The dome, everything about it's just a little different. It's pretty cool.
Lucas Oil Stadium. You couldn't. They were impossible to dislike.
It's like the Pacers. There's no other team there.
When Peyton Manning was there, they were impossible to dislike. I mean, Jeff Saturday. I mean, they're just.
How do you dislike a Manning in general?
Yeah.
You can't hate Chad Powers.
But all right, that's one for the books. Tony the Dreamer, anything to say?
Go Niners.
Go Niners! Yeah, go Niners! Anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. There's 3 viewers. There was 14 views during the stream, but there's 3 viewers on right now. Woo! Woo! We'll get a lot of views afterwards. All right. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us, and come on back next week. Peace.